Activist posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document. We obviously want people's privacy to be respected. We want people to protest peacefully if they want to protest. That is certainly what the president's view would be.
Joining me right now to talk more about all of that is Louisiana Congressman, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. He is a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. Also joining the conversation all morning long, of course, is John Lonsky and Brian Brenberg. Congressman, it's great to see you, and we so appreciate you joining the conversation this morning. I want to get to some of the economic data and the news of the day. We've got the jobs numbers coming out in 25 minutes. But let's start on these protesters showing up at Supreme Court justices' homes as a way of intimidation. You yourself was a victim and almost died because of lunatic shooting at the baseball field. What is your reaction to what we're watching here?
Yeah, Maria, there's a number of alarming pieces. The first is that the White House still won't even condemn the leak. And I'm glad that there's an investigation. Whoever did this should be disbarred if they're an attorney for life. And some other consequences need to happen, too. But this idea that you should just keep this open season on justices and allow for them to be intimidated. And look, Chuck Schumer, remember during the abortion debate not long ago, Chuck Schumer gave a speech and he said, and he specifically talked to Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, mentioning them by name, saying, you won't know what's going to hit you, and saying some other inflammatory things as well. Again, where is the White House condemning those kinds of things? This is a situation where, first of all, they need to go and investigate and find out who did this, but they should fast forward the release of the document. The idea of just leaving it hanging out there now that it's been leaked, the Supreme Court's actually acknowledged that this was the document being floated around. Just release the document, take that ability to intimidate the Supreme Court off the table. And that's something I hope they consider.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Because, Congressman, let's face it, the left is now campaigning on this leak. I mean, Kim Strassel writes in the Journal this week, nothing but abortion to run on. So two questions here. Number one, is this changing the dynamics for the upcoming midterm elections? Going into this leak, we were expecting that the Republicans would gain several seats, take the majority back because of the American people's souring on the Democrats' policy. Do you see this changing that?
I don't, and clearly they're floundering around looking for a message. They don't want to run on the issues that are affecting hardworking families. Inflation's still going to be the driving issue, high gas prices, the border crisis, parental involvement in kids' education. Those are all things that House Republicans have strong positions on to fix those and siding with the American people. But think about abortion, if this is where they think they're going to go. The Democrat position on abortion right now, Nancy Pelosi telegraphed it, so did Chuck Schumer, is to have abortion on demand mandated by federal law with taxpayers footing the bill. That's what they're talking about right now. That's the extreme position. And then go look at states like New York, with or without this decision. New York can still murder a baby after it's born alive outside the womb and call it abortion. That's murder, yet it's legal in the state of New York. That's the extreme position, if that's where they want to go. And I think you're going to find most Americans don't want this unlimited abortion on demand paid for by taxpayers, which is the Democrats' position in Washington.
The other day, Tim Ryan, who's running for the Senate seat in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, basically said he has no limitations whatsoever on abortion. That's just the way he sees it. We saw a similar narrative from Andrew Cuomo when he was governor of New York. Is this what they're going to do going into November? Keep talking about abortion, even as inflation is running at a 40-year high. We've got the April Consumer Price Index out next Wednesday. We see no evidence that inflation is peaking, even though markets tried to assess that the other day and rallied stocks. The Fed is trying to offset these high prices. Give us your sense of how important the economic story is for the American families today.
It's a powerful story because it affects people every single day. And this is where Washington Democrats are completely out of touch with the hardworking families of this country, from President Biden to Speaker Pelosi on down. They don't care about inflation. They don't care about high gas prices because their policies created this, and they're doubling down. They're not opening up drilling in America to lower gas prices and make Putin irrelevant on the world stage for oil. They're not doing the things you would have to do to correct the supply chain, to stop the spending in Washington that's driving high prices on everything you buy at the grocery store, everything you buy anywhere you go. They're surely not trying to fix the border crisis because Joe Biden created it by executive action, getting rid of Remain in Mexico, Northern Triangle agreements, stopping the building of the wall. All those things were working to give a secure border that Joe Biden had when he walked into office. Today, millions of people, they don't even know how many people on the terrorist watch list have come into America, but they're confirming it's in the dozens. That's alarming, too. That's what people are angry about, Maria. And their Democrats are only trying to make it worse. So this isn't going to help them. But again, they're in search. They're a party meandering around for a message because they don't want to fix the problems they created that are hurting families in America.
Well, we were just looking at the timeline on inflation. When Joe Biden walked into the White House, the consumer price index was at 1.4%. OK, and you just look at how their policies change things. In March of 2021, he signed the COVID relief bill. Inflation shoots up to 2.6%. By July of 2021, Democrats are pushing their $5 trillion Build Back Better agenda. They said it was $3.9 trillion, but everybody who came on this show told us there were so many gimmicks in it. It was actually $5 trillion. Inflation shoots up to 5.4%. Then, of course, in November, Biden signs another $1 trillion infrastructure package. So inflation goes to 6.8%. And then you've got Ukraine, and then on, and then on, and then on. Here we are sitting at an 8.5% inflation rate, and families are feeling it. Is there anything you can do about it at this point? You're an elected official. You've got a wide open border. You just mentioned the terrorists on the watch list. We showed video the other day, Congressman, of 3 Chinese individuals getting apprehended, and they were pushing narcotics in here. I mention this because we always talk about all of the people coming from the Northern Triangle, those people from Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua. But these are 3 Chinese individuals who paid $40,000, $50,000 a head, I'm told, by border agents. So the CCP is getting their people in here as well, and they're creating and making the fentanyl. What about the China policy?
Yeah, and again, this administration has been completely silent on holding China accountable for anything, not even a single hearing on the origins of COVID, let alone so many other things that China is doing. Look, you've got people from the CCP coming. You've got people from Russia coming. Over 150 countries are represented coming across our southern border. So it's not just South and Central America. It's all across the world. And frankly, a lot of people that you wouldn't let into your country if you were checking. Why does Joe Biden want an open border and want to make America less secure? Because that's what he's doing. What we're going to do is keep fighting and highlighting this and trying to address it. We're in the minority right now in the House, but we've had over 150 Republican members of Congress go to the southern border and then go back home and talk about it in our districts. So I think everybody in the country recognizes now why this is a problem. As you mentioned, the fentanyl, mostly made by China, but all coming across our southern border. Last year, the single killer of young people in America was fentanyl, not COVID, fentanyl. And Biden won't do anything about it.
Yeah, he hasn't said a word about fentanyl. So what do you want to say to Joe Biden, who yesterday or this week said that the MAGA group is the most dangerous political organization in American history? Not the Nazis, not ISIS, MAGA. That's what Joe Biden said the other day.
That's embarrassing. And think about what Joe Biden said when he was a candidate. He said he was going to represent all the people in the country, including those who voted against him. He's targeting those who voted against him. And remember what he did to parents who got involved in their kids' education, called them domestic terrorists. Shameful.
Right. Okay. Congressman, thanks very much for weighing in on all of that. It's good to see you, sir. Steve Scalise joining us this morning. We will